Recording in
Oh,
progress.
all right, Mr. Baker or Dee Bradley Baker,
Call
however
me
you want me to
D.
refer. First of all, thank you very much for speaking with FandomWire today about your role in King of Kings. I just want to say I am a huge fan and have
Thank you.
been a fan since you voiced Olmec, so it's been
Ah,
incredible to
Legends of the Hidden
actually.
Temple.
What was that?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes, exactly. So it's great to actually talk to you. I
It's
guess
not.
my first question right out the gate is when you looked at King of Kings, what was something that you were immediately drawn to that made you need to do this movie?
Well, they brought me in to do it just because this is my specialty. And so, as really with any story, I want this to be something that resonates. I want the character, the creature, the animal, to be just as much a part of the story that is playing out with all the other actors as anybody else. And so that's always fun. It's always a fun challenge to do something that's not generic, but that's also not over the top
Mhm.
because you're doing something that isn't always exactly an act. In most all instances, that's not exactly an accurate animal sound. It's something that reads as that animal, but that gives a sort of a heightened expressiveness that's more human and in a
Mhm.
way that feels natural, that just feels like, oh, clearly this makes sense and is part of the story and it draws you in. So that's really the fun. And plus it's directed by Jamie Thomason, who's a brilliant voice director, and
Yep.
he's always good to work with. And then it's a positive, beautiful story, whether you're religiously inclined or not. That
Mhm.
it's a positive, nice, profound story that's being told, and so that's interesting. Then you have this whole stable of amazing actors that are
I was
voicing
gonna say it's
characters.
an incredibly deep cast.
Yeah, it's an amazing cast, and they all perform wonderfully, and it's very beautiful, and it's very cinematic, in
Mhm.
its look and in its tone and what it's going for. So it's a very unique project, and it's the most fun to be involved with something of that caliber.
And you've obviously voiced a lot of animals in the past. I mean, Perry the Platypus is one of the big ones, and then clearly you've also got, you've got the Last Airbender. You've got so many great character animals that you've performed as. When you get a script, I know obviously a lot of other actors will look at the words to figure it out, but for you, you have to create an animal sound. So, kind of, how do you begin to break down the screenplay as you're performing the role of an animal?
Well, in most cases, fortunately, and that's part of why I got into voice acting, I don't have to deal with a script at all.
Fair.
That I mean, sometimes there is, but more often it's more important what the director or the writer is telling
Mhm.
me as they describe the scene, because I can't really get the full three-dimensional flavor or the specifics of the choreography or the action or even the stakes of what are playing out from a script. The script can help me with that, but
Mhm.
but so much of that is in the director's brain and in the writer's brain, and that's stuff that I need to get in the session. And so in the case of this particular movie, um, I hadn't seen a script at all. And I mean, occasionally they'll send me a cue sheet that's a rundown of beats, but that doesn't tell me anything. What tells me, what really directs me, is the image itself. And in this case, and in a lot of cases, the image is already produced. It's in post production. It's already been shot. It's been
Yep.
edited. The music might be there already, sound effects, and much of it is already there. So all I have to do is watch it, and with the help of the voice director, Jamie Thomason, who's brilliant,
Mhm.
or if the writers or the showrunner are in the room, that helps too. To get something that nails the exact tone and the flavor of what they want this creature to sound like and feel like in service to the story that's being told. So that's the long-winded version of saying usually I don't pay much attention to a script at all, and that
Mhm.
often it's just to picture, and that is what's telling me what to do.
Well, and you mentioned you worked with Jamie Thomason before, and obviously this ensemble not only includes a lot of big actors like Kenneth Branagh, Uma Thurman, but also includes just legends of vocal performance. Um, First of all, were you able to do any sessions with your fellow castmates? And if not, what does it mean to you as a voice performer to see a film populated with so many actors that are vocal performers first.
It's fun to imagine what it would be like to actually be in a session or on a stage with any
Mhm.
of these people.
Yeah.
In this instance, I was brought in for about a maybe a 2 or 3 hour session, maybe. I think it was just 2 hours,
Wow.
where Jamie would just show me the segments that they want me in. I would
Hmm.
do the sounds to that performance, and then I would also give them a sort of an audio bucket of general reactions like
Yep.
curiosity, fright, suspicion, and then they can pepper those in as they're putting it together to see how much is enough, how much is too little, how much is too much. So, but it's it's most gratifying to then play the movie, which is a beautiful cinematic movie with a wonderful uplifting message, and then just be in the company of the final production with all of these luminaries,
Yeah.
both of voice acting as well as on camera and stage. I mean, that's the fun of being an actor to me is the collaboration is to get together and make a story with other people. It's a much more atomized process now, especially since COVID.
Hmm.
But it as you can see, it works beautifully if you've got good material, good writing, good directing, and good actors. And so it all works. As a performer, would
Right.
I prefer that we all sit together and hammer it out in a studio over many, many hours together in a studio? That would be fun. That'd be
Hmm.
great. But there's also a nice economy to the production if we do it this way in the sort of bit by bit way where you just come in for an hour or 2 hours or maybe 4 hours and you do your thing and then that's it and you're out and that's the thing that you did. But even if you're doing like on camera of some kind, often you're brought in to do your scene or
Hmm.
a couple of scenes, and you don't really know what the whole rest of the whole big circus is going to
Yeah.
look like once it comes together. But that's just an actor's life, even if you're doing stage, maybe you're sitting in your dressing room until you come out and do your two lines as the Shakespearean pole carrier, and then you go back to the dressing room. That's acting. It's all right. It's different for every show.
Well, and in the case of something like King of Kings, how do you kind of begin the process to prepare for an animal versus when you're voicing somebody like Klaus on American Dad, or if you're voicing Rex in Star Wars? Kind of how do you prepare differently for something like King of Kings?
Um, I gotta say, at this point, there is no preparation. Preparation usually works against me. If I
Okay.
prepare something, then I have to dig out of it when I'm in the session and they tell me what they need.
Mm,
So, and there's all this effort to undo what I've already done that they don't need. So my
that makes
job
sense.
is more specifically to show up ready
Mm,
rather than prepared. So I'm ready to do whatever they need vocally. Um, my mind is open. My instrument is feeling good. I've hopefully had a good night's sleep. There's my preparation is a good night's sleep. Maybe do a little meditation in the morning to kind of clear my mind. I might do some. Um, I might read out loud every day to myself. I like to do that. That's kind of a preparation, but that's kind of keeping my motor running so that
hmm.
I'm ready when I come in to deliver for them whatever it is that they need.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that's so great about your role in King of Kings is that Willa the cat just pops off the screen. Like is absolutely incredible, both in the vocal performance and in the dynamics of how she wanders through scenes. So thank you very much for like making a character like this pop so much, even if you don't necessarily
Well, thank you.
go
Now,
the full preparation route.
yeah,
Um,
I want to point out though that that's an ensemble effort there. That in a
right.
way, an animated character is like a puppet with 100 hands, right?
Hmm.
That there's people who light it, there's people that time it, there's that paint it, that color it. In addition to the writing and the directing, that heavy labor and work and brilliance weaves together into the character along with my vocal performance. So I see myself as part of an ensemble, even with a character where you say, "Oh, I'm the voice of this." But I realize that I am there with the others who are making this character come to life, and I'm just part of that ensemble.
Well, it's an incredible performance and it's an incredible character. So congrats to all of you, I guess, because yeah, Willa definitely steals the show.
Oh,
So Well, hey, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And it was great talking to you.
My pleasure. You have a good one, Alan.
Yep, you as well.